So, thank you. Thank you. I'm sweet. I really am. I mean to be this way. I choose it. I believe that we all have a reason to be, in the words of the trend today, diabolical. I believe that many of us have a reason to just be atrocious. Just straight up 5150, to be quite honest, okay? However, I had to honor the versions of me that were doing the same thing, expecting a different result. And I understand why they did that. Those versions of me were so in my ego that I was certain that I could produce a different result if only I was even more consciously aware of what I was doing. Only to discover, after becoming more consciously aware, that there were infinite alternatives, infinite choices, infinite options available, which then opened this world of opportunities. And I realized that, oh, well, if I'm doing this and it's literally producing this, let me do something else. And I can do it again. However, I'm consciously aware of my feelings, so I allow myself to tap into my emotional intelligence. I allow myself to connect to my intuition. And I trust my discernment. And I let myself not ask a question, but I let myself feel and be. And before I do the same thing again, in the exact same way, with the same mentality and intention, I be with me. And I let me guide me. This goddess, her name is Mama Tech. She said, God is in me and speaks in first person. Ooh. Hit me, girl. 2 times, boom, boom, okay? 3 times, boom, boom, boom. 4 times, whoop, 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 whoop. 5 times. No, I'm kidding, okay? I'm not kidding. God is in me and speaks in first person. Ooh. And so I say, I trust me. And so I feel. And before I do the same thing again, in the same way, with the same intention, I breathe. Ooh, and if it don't feel right inside of me, we got to switch something up. Either that's how we do it, why we do it, or where we do it at. Got to switch something up. And so tonight, my switch up was how I did it. Tonight, my switch up was how I did it. And that's where the boundaries came in. I found myself before going out into public spaces feeling like I needed to connect with everybody, because when you grow up being told that your flamboyancy are an abomination, when you grow up and by the age of 5, you are told by these adults, if you turn out to be gay, I'll shoot you with a shotgun in the face. You start to feel like you're a danger to society. Why would someone want to end me if I choose to just be me? I thought when I was younger I didn't understand what that meant until I began to do an in-depth analysis. And I began to have memories of myself in that moment, receiving those words from my mother and my godmother in the presence of my godmom's mother. And everyone just was, as if they were in agreement. of the words my mother spoke to me. And I remember walking into the room where I had my turtle, and I sat next, it was on the floor, and I sat next to the tank, and I pulled my knees into my chest and I cried. And when I reflect on that moment, I see with my mind's eye, my spirit left my body. A version of my soul fractured itself like a Horcrux. As at that moment, I felt murdered. I felt ended. I felt done. And I didn't want to be here anymore. And when I look at photos of me, I notice that I look different. My light began to dwindle. My light began to fade. It was in that moment that I really understood emotionally that I'm not wanted as me at the place that I had been. That was hard to reflect on. That was a tough moment to heal. For when I chose to be the light walking back into my body at that age, reminding me that I'm loved unconditionally because I love me. The emotions that escaped were tough. And I realized, I knew what was meant. Whoa. Harsh. Yet I understood because growing up in South Central LA in the 90s, it wasn't really okay to be gay. I used to listen to people talk so negatively about the feminine males or the feminine men or the feminine bodied masculines. And then they would pretend to be their best friends and receive advice from them and tips and copy their aesthetics. And I used to feel like, why would you learn from them yet speak so negatively about them when they're not around? And it reminded me just to not be that energy around these individuals, because that's what will happen to me. Wow. That's tough to reflect on. I really love everybody. I've searched for reasons why I do, and I've been saying this for years. And I just discovered that it's who I am. So I love me unconditionally, and tonight I decided to choose me. And it was fun. Felt a little bit uncomfortable in the beginning setting boundaries for a split second. And then at the same time I said, ooh, how freeing that also feels. But that freedom is what really got me to where I understood what wealth was even deeper than I expressed verbally the other day, where I said wealth is the ability to be yourself any and everywhere, accepting that comes with being yourself everywhere and anywhere. And I accept being myself everywhere and anywhere, because I believe that I have an unconditional love inside of me that keeps me safe, to the point where those who even despise me, they love me. I just believe I'm so fucking lovable. I know I am. I'm intentional with how I listen, with how I love, with how I engage, and I'm honest. I used to say to a fault. It's not to a fault, I'm just honest. And I deserve to be honest with me and with everybody. Okay. With that being said, I love you. I'm gonna take a nap and enjoy me some more.